The Credit Crusader.
Yeah, wow.
Get people's money back.
I got my money back.
The Credit Crusader.
Wow.
Know that he got your back.
How's it going, guys? That's right. It's your old pal, the Credit Crusader, and I'm back with a new credit building timeline revised for 2023. I know a lot's changed since my last workshop or credit building timeline, so I want to go over some of the things that have changed, some of the things that have stayed the same. Before I get too far into this, though, you know what I'm going to say. This video is for entertainment/education purposes only. It is not a call to action. This is just for fun. This is not to be repeated. Now, I got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get started on this credit building timeline. As you guys can see, I've got everything set up similar to how I did last time. We got the different levels, how long it takes. If you look over here, this is the start, this is the end, and right here is the amount of time it should take for you to get into each level. This timeline goes over a course of 2 years. I know a lot of people go, oh, 2 years, it shouldn't take that long. Yeah, no, it does. It takes 2 years to really build out your credit. Anybody else tells you otherwise is full of shit, all right? It takes 2 years. You need to go into this knowing that it's going to take about 2 years. But the good news is that it still works. And I've seen it work, and I've seen people have success. People who don't have success are the people who try to rush shit. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start with, in level 1, what you're going to need to get into level 1. What you will need to be in level 1 is you're going to need to have a credit profile, whether it's built with a CPN or a social security number, that doesn't matter. A lot of people get confused or get, they don't understand the concept of a credit profile. A credit profile is the same if it's a social security number or if it's a CPN. It's all it is a file at the bureau that is a collection of data points that creates a person. And these are the data points right here: the name, the date of birth, social security number or CPN number, address, phone number, email, and then an ID. Usually an ID number of some sort is on there, but that's not really mandatory as far as the credit profile is concerned. Now, if you don't know how to get to make a credit profile, you can check out my CPN workshop number 1, creation. A lot of people have had success with it. It's still relevant in 2023. Everything still works the same. You'll learn a lot with that workshop. Now, when it comes to what you're going to need in order to get into level 2 is you're going to need to set up everything. So you're going to need to actually set up credit monitoring. What are some good credit monitorings? Well, there's Credit Karma. There's Experian.com. Those are the 2 free ones. They're the most popular ones. I know Experian is now starting to do pushback when it comes to CPNs. Not all the time, but sometimes. I mean, if that happens, then you need to try a different number. You need to keep jiggling the locks, or you can keep going with that number. As far as if you're using a CPN, you can keep going and see what happens, because just because you can't get into Experian for their credit monitoring, that doesn't mean that you're not going to ever be able to get anything with that CPN number. That doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, it's better if you can get credit monitoring on all 3. I wouldn't start building something unless I could get that, because I'm not going to try to build on something that is already starting to show that it's got problems. So, that's the advice I can give you. Things have changed. It's getting harder. It's definitely getting harder. They're aware of what's going on. Everybody's on YouTube talking about this shit, making videos and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the word is getting out, so they're definitely changing. So just know that before you get into this. There are no guarantees. But what you're going to need is you're going to need to have credit monitoring, because you're going to need to use that credit monitoring to view where the hell you're at as far as your status on your credit. You need to check the credit report to see where you're at. You're going to need to have your public records built. Now, this is something that people neglect, and this is one of the number 1 reasons why people fail at getting things and building things up, is because their profile is not in public records. Just because they can get credit monitoring, that does not mean they have a public records presence in public records. And if that's something you are interested in learning how to do, I've got a workshop for that goes over how you get into public records, how public records works, where the information is stored in public records. That's a great workshop that I've made that explains it all. It's still relevant for 2023. It's still the same process. So once you have all your information that's on your credit profile that you've checked because you have credit monitoring, and you can see that all this stuff's there, the name, the date of birth, the social security number or CPN, the address, the phone number, the email, and then you've got your public records built out. What you're going to need to do is have a trade line on your profile. Now, the easiest way to add a trade line is to use an AU trade line. As far as the trade line is concerned, it's only got to be 6 months old in order to give you a credit score. Anything under that, and you won't be able to get a credit score. Now, I know some people are like, I added a trade line in 2 months and it gave me a credit score. No, it didn't. Well, I mean, it gave you a credit score, it gave you a Vantage score. It did not give you a FICO score. Credit Karma is a Vantage score. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a AU trade line that's 6 months old. The limit does not have to be high, because all you're trying to do is build out. You're just trying to get your credit profile, have a presence so that you can start applying for primaries over here in level 2. So, you know, you don't have to spend a bunch of money on the AU trade line that you get. Another thing that I want you guys to know is this timeline I've made was made with keeping this cost effective. It's the cheapest way also to build it out too. There's some optional AU boosts here that I give people, but you don't have to spend a ton of money in order to get to here. That's another great thing about my method. So anyways, once you get the AU trade line, and once it hits your credit profile and is reporting, and now you have a credit score, congratulations, you're in level 2. Now, a great place to get AU trade lines is TradelineVault.com. I'll leave a link in the description of this video in case that's something you're looking for, or you can add someone, a friend or relative can add you as an authorized user. Just got to make sure that the perfect payment history, and you got to make sure that it's a trade line that's going to report. Like, you can't use American Express. They suck because they don't backdate. So now we're at level 2. You guys are going to see I've got a list of different accounts that you can try to get. Also, I've got some things here in green. In level 2, which takes you 1 to 4 months to get to, you should take you about 1 to 4 months. So getting level 1 is quick. You can get into and out of level 1 in under a month. All you have to do is get everything set up, wait for the trade line to hit, and then once it does, boom, you're here. So that they shouldn't take long. That's one of the good things about level 1 is you're not in it long if you do everything right. Now that you're in level 2, this is going to take about 1 to 4 months for you to be in. So what you're going to want to do in that 1 to 4 months, and the faster you're able to do this, the faster you're going to be able to get out of level 2, is you're going to need to get some accounts. Now, I've got a list here. We got Kickoff, Credit Strong, Self-Lender Secure Cards, Citi Secure Card, Cap One, shopping cart cards, all that good stuff. These cards right here are they're not all cards. Like Kickoff isn't a card. Kickoff used to be free. It used to be great. A lot of these places now are starting to crack down on letting CPNs in. I'm just going to let you guys know right now. I know Self-Lender's cracking down. I don't know about Credit Strong. I've seen some profiles get kicked out of Self-Lender, but then be able to get into Credit Strong. So it's just, there's luck involved with this, guys. Like I said, they're cracking down. One thing you can do if you're worried about your Self-Lender getting shut down is you can, when they automatically approve you, because Self-Lender will automatically approve you. I've never seen anybody get declined from Self-Lender. But the only thing is usually like, you know, after a month or two, they'll say, hey, we need you to send in documents. And if you don't, we're going to close the account. If you close the account yourself before they can do that, then they have to close the account and it will stay on your report. If you wait for them to then send you documents, they can remove it off of your credit profile. And you definitely don't want them to do that because you want to have accounts on your credit profile. So one thing you can try doing is getting Self-Lender and then immediately closing it right after it reports. Because again, that's better for that than for them to close it down. Sorry, this shit's getting harder, but what'd you expect when you got every asshole and their brother trying to show people how to do this, and everybody's trying to do it and they think it's some like free money cheat code. But anyways, that's the deal with Self-Lender. That's the thing that changed. Kickoff, you can try going over there. They used to be free, now you got to pay. Credit Strong, similar to Self-Lender. So yeah, again, I've heard that it's easier to get into Credit Strong, but they're not as easy to work with as Self-Lender. But what difference does it make if Self-Lender is going to close your account? Now, coming down here to Citi Secured Card and the secured cards, in my opinion, Citi is number 1. Citibank Secured Card is the best secured card for you to get, especially if you're trying to build a CPN. I know a lot of people are like, secured card, what? No, trust me, because you want to get in with Citibank. You want to get a presence with them. You want them to know you because down the road, you're going to be able to get the big cards with them. They hand out the generous limits. So Citi Card, if you get approved for the Citibank Secure Card, that's a huge win. Cap One, they have like a kind of like a half secured card. You got like give them $50 or something. I mean, they're all right. I'd go after these cards if you can't get into Citi for some reason. But Citibank is by far the best one. Discover used to be great, but they've cracked down a lot. I mean, I've seen them send in, you got to send in documents or they got to like verify you. You'll get an email saying that they got to verify you with the Social Security Administration. And if you say no, they'll close the account. So, I mean, I haven't messed with Discover in a while, and I haven't really told people to mess with them. But that doesn't mean if you get the Discover card that they'll keep it open. I've seen some people still to this day have Discover cards that are still open. It's just, it's a crapshoot, The shopping cart card, things like Good Sam, the Victoria's Secret card, those are things you can try to get. You'll only be able to get those if you're in public records, though. So definitely got to make sure you're in public records. The three things that most people try to get in level 2, and a lot of it has got to do with what's your goal. A lot of people are just trying to either get a car, an apartment, or a phone. Now, as you guys see, I said you only need a 6-month-old trade line to get into level 2. If your goal is to get a car, an apartment, or phones, you're going to need a bigger trade line. You're going to need something more substantial. I'd go with like 5 years, 10K if you're trying to get these. Because again, you're not, this is something that people are trying to get fast. They're not looking down over here. They're just looking to get this. And if that's your goal, you can't go cheap on the trade line. You're going to have to add trade lines, and you're probably going to have at least 2 because, these three cars, dealerships, apartment complexes, and phone companies, they're cracking down because they're seeing what's happening. So again, you're going to have a stronger file now than you used to have back in the day or a couple years back. Now, once you have your AU's reporting and you have at least two of these primaries reporting, now, congratulations, you're in level 3. Level 3 is where you can actually try to get actual unsecured cards. My Synchrony cards, they offer a lot of store cards like Guitar Center, Care Credit, Car Care. They're great. They've been great. They stopped reporting AUs, so you can't use My Synchrony AUs are no longer any good. They used to be great, but you can still be able to get the cards. They validate you through the phone. I made a video about this. Go back and look at my old videos. There's a lot of information there, but My Synchrony is still good. The Apple Card, that's a great one by Goldman Sachs. One of the great things about the Apple Card is that they'll let you know whether or not you're approved before you get the hard inquiry. Again, the method to the madness is you're trying to get as many counts as you can. You're not trying to get a bunch of inquiries, because if you do that, it's going to take you longer to get over here, because you can only have like 3 pulls in order to get approved for big stuff. So what you want to do is make sure that if you go for something, try to apply for something, you get the damn account. Self-Lender doesn't do a hard inquiry, so they're great. I don't believe Kickoff does either. I don't even believe Kickoff or Credit Strong does. The secured card, the Citibank secured card, does do a hard inquiry. So these cards right here, you're going to get the inquiry. The shopping cart tricks don't. Those are usually commodity banks like Victoria's Secret. So it's like, pick your poison, which one you're going to try to get. But you want to have at least 2 to 3 primaries on your account before you can consider yourself in level 3, before you can try to go for this stuff. Now, once you have that and the primaries are 3 months old, now you can start trying to get these cards. Like I said before, store cards are great too. When it comes to store cards, it's always better for you to walk in person rather than online for a store card. Because if you're doing it online, the credit card companies rely more on public records versus if you're walking up in person, they're just going to ask you for your driver's license. You flip that out, and then you're going to be able to get past. If for some reason you're not in public records, that'll put you in public records more. So that's the deal when it comes to store cards. That's why it's easier to get them in person versus online. But, hey, I know a lot of people like to apply for things online. It's up to you. You want to roll the dice, go for it. You're going to be in level 3 for about 4 to 6 months. This one takes longer. You're going to be in here longer because what you're waiting for is for these accounts over here that you got to age. You need to have at least 2 to 3 primaries over 3 months old. If you got the Credit Strong or the Self-Lender account, you need to pay that down. Pay it down substantially. You need to, but don't pay it off completely. You want to make sure that you still leave a balance on there because you don't want the account to be closed. If you decided, if you went with Credit Strong, or even if Self-Lender, you wanted to take the shot and keep it open to see if they wouldn't close it. You want to pay it down to over 50% paid, but don't pay it off completely because that looks great on the credit report. You're going to have to wait for the primaries to age over 3 months, like I said. Once they do, and you've paid down your Self-Lender Credit Strong report, then you're able to go into level 4. Now, what I would do is I would get at least 1 primary over here. You really want 2. Then I would try to get one of these cards. So now you're going to have a new card that's an actual legit real card with an actual limit on it. And you're going to have these 2 old primaries here. So now you have 3 primaries that are starting to age. And I'd make sure that the 2 over here you got are at least 3 months old before you try to go into here. Now, as you can see, this is the hard pulls max. Only 2 hard pulls max. So you want to keep those hard pulls low, like I said. So again, you got to pick your strategy as far as what you're going to try to go for and get. So, after you've done that, now you're in level 4. Now, the cool thing about level 4 is you can actually get real shit. Level 4 is when you can start trying to get the Barclays, the Citibank, American Airlines card, and all that kind of stuff. Chase, yeah, all these good shit cards. Now, I forgot to talk about level 3 is the offers. I put that little star there. You may start getting offers early on. I mean, you can try to accept the offers, but there's certain banks that they're going to send you offers, but they're never going to approve you. So it's like you kind of got to, pick your poison, roll the dice. If you get an offer from Citibank, even over here, apply. I've seen a lot of success with that. If you get an offer from Chase, I mean, your chances are a lot lower than Citibank, but still, you still may be able to get approved. So if you get an offer from either Citibank or Chase, even in level 3, apply, because that means that you're in public records. So the public records part of your profile isn't what's going to be stopping you. The rest is going to be relying on your actual credit score and all that kind of stuff. So now, as you look over here, you're going to be in level 4 for a good while. You're going to be in here for 6 months to a year. I know everybody's like, oh, I know. Well, it all depends on how fast you can get approved for stuff, whether or not you do get approved for stuff. If you're lucky, you will only be in level 4 for 6 months. The deal is with in level 4 that's cool is that if you were able to get that Citibank secured card, chances are it's going to be turned unsecured in here. And when it does, you can try to get credit line increases. Now you got to worry because some places they will actually give you a hard inquiry for a credit line increase. So again, you got to kind of pick your poison. Do you want to try to do the credit line increase on the Citi card that you got back here, or do you want to try to use that inquiry for the Citibank card over here, the American Airlines, which is known for giving out $9,000? It's like, it's up to you. Another card you can try to get is the Best Buy card. You're going to want to go and walk in and actually do that in person, but that's easy to get. Like I said, Barclay and Chase. These 2, if you want to try to get them, you're going to be lucky if you get them, because it's rare. I've seen people with credit profiles get these 2 at this state. If you do get the Barclay card, it's going to be a low limit, but that's fine. If you can get a Barclay card, any limit, you need to celebrate. You need to pop some champagne because that bank is awesome. And once you get 1 card, it's way easier to get more. And they are very, very good about giving credit line increases and all that good stuff. So as you guys look right here, you're going to be in here for 6 months to a year, like I said, and you're going to need to have 2 to 3 primaries over 6 months old. Pay down your self-lender or Credit Strong. I would have had that paid off by now. Your self-lender should be paid off, or your Credit Strong should be paid off at this point. 4 hard pulls max. That's the toughest part of all this, is keeping those hard inquiries low. I mean, you can try doing, disputing them off if you screw up, but you cannot have hard inquiries on there or you can't dispute off hard inquiries if you got an account. So again, you got to be real selective with what you apply for. Now, as you can see over here, we got the optional AU boost. At any point in level 3, level 4, level 5, you can do an AU boost that will help or increase your chances of getting into the next level. It's going to cost money. Trade lines are expensive, but it's an option you can do. It depends. If you're really trying to go as fast as you can, you're going to need to do the AU boost. You don't need to though. You can do this entire chart just by starting with that one little baby AU on there. You can get all the way over here, just so you know. But if you're impatient and you want to risk it and pay the money for the AU, it will increase your chances of getting approved for stuff and getting into the next level faster. I'm letting you guys know that. So now in level 4, hopefully you've been getting the accounts, you've been managing them. Another thing you need to do is make sure you use the accounts, you use the cards, use them, pay them back, use them, pay them back. Having cards, a bunch of cards and never using them, that looks bad. Banks don't like that. They want to make money off you. They like to see a guy who uses his cards because that's how they make their money, with the transaction fees. So banks are greedy. You want to play on that. So you need to make sure you're using your card. If you're trying to get a credit line increase, one of the best ways of getting a credit line increase is using the card to the max and then paying it back at the end of the month. Because they're going to say, hey, this he needs more credit. Look, he's spending all this money. We're going to make more money off of him. We need to give him a bigger line. And that's what they'll do. Banks are greedy. You got to play off that. Now let's talk about level 5. Level 5, you can now try to get a card from like a real car dealership, not some mudlot car, Crazy Larry, some low-end car lot. Like, you can go to a real dealership now in level 5. Your credit profile should be a year and 6 months, 2 years old. You should have 3 to 4 primaries over a year old. No accounts newer than 3 months. When you get new accounts, it's like it starts the clock. Like when banks, they don't like to see someone getting multiple accounts in a short amount of time. It makes people look thirsty. So you want to make sure that when you get an account, you know that that's starting the clock over as far as the next account you can get, especially with something big. Like secured cards and stuff, they don't give a crap because it's no skin off their back because you have to put down a deposit. But with stuff over here, they're not going to want to see that you just got a bunch of credit cards here and then like the next month try to get a car. Like, that's not going to work. You need to have them aged. You need to have them reporting. You need to be using them and then paying it back down. Use it, pay it down. Definitely use your cards. That's one of the biggest things that people mess up with. You know, make sure, like I said, you need to pay. I would pay off the loans now. By this time, by a year and 6 months to 2 years, these loans that you got back here, the credit builder loans, they should be paid off. You should have 3 to 4 primaries over a year old. Like I said, that's great. And now you can go in and you can get, just so you know, when you're in these levels, you can go back and get, like, you can try to get the Barclay. You can go in to try to get level 4 cars. You just can't go up yet. You can go this way. You can go back and get stuff like over in here, but you just can't go up until you've reached the next level, which is you need to have your credit profile needs to be 2 years or older. Now, why 2 years? 2 years is when the hard inquiries are going to fall off from the stuff that you got back here. So let's just say you got a hard inquiry from your Citibank secured card. After 2 years, that's going to fall off, but the account's going to be there. Your accounts are considered new until 2 years. Just so you guys know, it takes 2 years for an account to really be established and be considered not a new account. As far as the credit limits are concerned, you guys can see right here what you should expect to get. I didn't go over that. I'll go over it right now. In level 3, you're going to be getting smaller credit limits, 500 to 3K. In level 4, 3K to 5K. Now, the Citibank, I've seen some people get 9K from them. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're still doing that promotion, but that's the only card that I've seen give out like the really big limit like that fast, only having a credit profile that's only 6 months old. It's just the luck of the draw if they're doing the promotion or not. It's the Citibank American Airlines card. But in level 4, 3 to 5K is what you should be looking at. In level 5, you should be getting 5 to 7.5K. That's if you've been building up and asking for credit line increases, trying to build up your credit, because when you go to apply for stuff and they're going to determine what your limit is going to be, they're going to look and see what are your other limits on your other cards. That's why it's important to ask for the credit line increases when you can, when they allow you. they'll let you know. Like Synchrony, they offer them. Citibank will offer them. I think Citibank offers them every 6 months, I think. But just make sure you try to build that up. That way you're in another category as far as what's on your credit profile. Also, the AUs are going to help with that too. So let's just say you've got 3 to 4 primaries over a year old, and you got like 2 AUs on there with big age and big limit. You're going to get the highest limits that you can pretty much that they're going to be able to offer. So that's just the way it works. Now, if you want to get the big boy stuff, like a house, loans, like big loans, cars, major bank, credit cards, like I said, 2 years, 4 to 5 primaries over 2 years old. You're going to want to have 6 or 7 primaries total, because the amount of different accounts you have on definitely helps too. You want no accounts newer than 3 months, like I said. You want to pay down your self-lending credit card, like I said. Maximum amount of hard pulls you want to have is 3. There's some banks that really look at hard pulls and some banks that don't. Like Chase, they really look at hard pulls. Like they don't care what your credit score is. If you've got like recent hard pulls, they will not approve you. Some banks are lenient. It all depends. It's a crapshoot. Now, in level 6, you're not done. You can keep going. But level 6 is really, in my opinion, an established credit profile. Like I said, it takes two years minimum to get into. But once you get here, you definitely don't want to miss any payments or anything like that to screw it up. Because again, this all is with in mind that you have not run up your cards, you're not carrying big balances, and you haven't missed any payments. That's definitely something that's important. You're never going to get to level 6. If you miss a payment back here, you're done. You miss a payment back here, you're not getting into level 6 for shit. It could be 4 or 5 years before you actually get into level 6. That will set you back immensely. So do not miss a payment. If you run up your credit, let's just say you max out something, you can't try to get into the next level without paying that down first. Running up your credit isn't as bad as missing a payment, because if you run it up, you can always pay it down, and then the next month when it reports, you're good. But, you can't go into the next level if you've got your cards run up to the max, or if you've missed a payment. So just keep that stuff in mind. All right, guys, I hope this helps you guys out. Hope this explains things in 2023. Thank God it still works. For how much longer? I don't know. I mean, could it end tomorrow? Yep. Just have to wait and see. But with that being said, I got to get going. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Crusader out.